A school district in Peoria, Illinois, is renaming 7 of its schools that currently honor historical figures. That includes America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, and the pioneer aviator, Charles Lindbergh. Advocates who pushed for the name changes cited the complicated legacies of some of those figures with regard to human rights and slavery. Peoria Public Schools Board of Education voted in favor of renaming the schools last month. One of the people who prompted the debate is Vice President of Peoria Public Schools Board of Education, Gregory Wilson, and he joins me now. Welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. So, Greg, who came up with the list of names to change? And give us some insight on how the process of removing their names went.
Definitely. Thank you. So I was the first board member to mention that maybe we should change the name of the school buildings. It was something that I've always wanted to do since being elected to the school board. So I introduced that, and then the board, it came in front of the full board to vote on, and we got the vote approved. And then we moved forward with the name change. The process behind changing the schools and renaming them, it hasn't happened yet. We have the first school, Thomas Jefferson, set to be renamed here soon. The building committee is looking at the different things that has to be done so we can get that accomplished.
Did you face any objections?
Yes, definitely. I received numerous emails opposing the name changes. I've been called many derogatory names. However, I've also received an equal amount of praise for bringing this topic up. So, kind of have to take the good with the bad.
Well, tell us about the decision to rename the school named after the 30th U.S. President Calvin Coolidge, because here's what the former president said defending a black congressional candidate. This is back in 1924. Quote, "The suggestion of denying any measure of their full political rights to such a great group of ours as the colored people is one which, however it might be received in some other quarters, could not possibly be permitted by one who feels a responsibility for living up to the traditions and maintaining the principles of the Republican Party." Why remove his name from a school?
Well, I think it's important to, and that's, I think it's important to note that we're not, necessarily, I think it's very much fueled by a lot of the different, racist or discriminatory comments made by a lot of these people. But, removing Coolidge from the school, we have an 80% student population, and yet we have one school named after a female African-American here in our district. So I think it's just important now that we start, sharing some of the history that we have of other heroes that have made an impact and an influence in Peoria. Heroes such as Reverend C.T. Vivian, who lived here in Peoria, Annie Malone, who lived here in Peoria. Just think it's time to start recognizing some of those names now. It has nothing to do personally with Coolidge, Jefferson, Washington, or any of the other schools.
So that was going to be my question, because what would you say to the argument that, if you look around, the majority of our nation's historical figures have complicated legacies when viewed through modern eyes, and some may view this as sort of an overreaction. But what I hear you saying is it's more about honoring some of the local figures who have some ties there to Peoria, who come from more diverse backgrounds. Do I have that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we owe it to our youth to finally tell the truth when it comes to the history of this nation. You take a Jefferson or a Washington or a Lindbergh. I can't justify having a school honoring men who have owned slaves and used power and influence to disrupt generations and generations of families. It's to the point now where I think it's very important that we recognize that, many founding fathers and early great men of this nation are not heroes to some people, and they're quite the opposite. We're talking about having a school named Thomas Jefferson where, he didn't advocate for educating African American people or minorities. So I don't think he would even be welcoming to the African Americans that are currently inside that school building.
So finally, Mr. Wilson, who will propose and ratify the new names of these schools?
The community. The community. Very important that the community has a say so. So there's we kind of open that process up to get names that individuals feel made an impact in Peoria. We did a questionnaire, contained questions such as why you nominate this person, what works have they done in the community. I believe we received close to 30 different nominations, and that's multiple races. We're not just saying we're going to change all the schools that we mentioned here to names that are minorities. It's very important that we are versatile in that, and that it's just not that. It should be just what it is, a celebration of some of our local heroes and a way for our students to get to know some of our heroes, some heroes that have fought for equality and civil rights, not a cancel culture type situation.
All right. I'm afraid we're out of time. Gregory Wilson, thank you very much.
Thank you.